Management Information System, or the MIS. So this was taken from the slide of Rogers S. What is MIS? Management Information System is a computer-based information system which is basically concerned with processing data into information, which is then communicated to the various departments in an organization to support the operations, the management, and the decision-making function in the organization. So again, uh, the concern is to process data for it to become information. Definition of MIS. So Management Information System, or MIS, broadly refers to a computer-based system that provides managers with the tools to organize, evaluate, and efficiently manage departments within an organization. So it's the same with the previous one, but it was just stated in another way. So again, it's more of a computer-based system. What does Management Information System, or MIS, mean? So MIS, basically, you can see that there are three important, uh, let's say, components of the MIS. One is management. So how do we manage the resources? And we also, MIS deals with information, and it also deals with the system. The system may be the computer system or other systems that are used by the organization. So let's take a look at management. So management is effective utilization of human and material resources to achieve the enterprise objective. So it is a process consisting of the five basic functions. So number one is planning, number two, organizing, three, staffing, number four, directing, and number five, controlling. So these are the five functions of a manager. So when you manage, these are the things you do, and this will be discussed more thoroughly on the next slides, or the latter slides of this presentation. Information, on the other hand, information in MIS means the processed data that helps the management in planning, controlling, and operations. So it is processed data. So data means unstructured raw facts, observations, or unevaluated messages in isolation. Data involves facts and figures. Information, on the other hand, is like a finished product. So that's why we call them raw facts. So we process them. If we process the data, it becomes information. So again, we're comparing data versus information. So here we have your data, it's just raw. Here it's more organized. So it becomes more meaningful and it becomes more readable. System. A system is an orderly grouping of interdependent components linked together according to a plan to achieve a specific objective. So human body is an example of a system. So a system is composed of various parts. So the human body is composed of various parts which are working together towards a common objective, and that is to live. So we can have other examples of systems. Let's say, for example, a digestive system. So a digestive system is composed of various parts like the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, etc. And these parts are actually working together. They're brought together towards a common objective. And the objective of the digestive system is, of course, to digest food. Information system. So what is an information system then? An information system is an organized combination of, so these are the parts. So the people, the hardware, the software, the communications network, the data resources that collects, transforms, and disseminates in an organization. So these are the parts. And of course, what is the purpose of this information system, based from the name itself, is of course to produce information. So these are the components of an information system. We have the input. So these are maybe the data or the input procedures. The processor, this is the brain of the computer. Output, these are the output itself. Then the people, those that are involved in the information system. Then we have the hardware, the physical devices, the input devices, the software, the program itself, and then the data. And since most hardware now are uh, linked, then we also have the network. In other books, there are only some books only state five components of the information system, which these are the peopleware, hardware, software, data, and process, or the procedures. But in other books, just like in this case, there are around eight components. Management information system. A management information system is an integrated user machine system for providing information to support the operations, management, analysis, and decision-making functions in an organization. So the system utilizes what are the components of the system. So the computer hardware and software, the manual procedures, the models for analysis, planning, control, and decision making, and a database that is where we store data. But why do we have an MIS? So why MIS? Manager makes decisions all the time, and there is an overload of information because for every transaction we have to record each transaction. If we're going to look at this data, the data or the information from this transaction, if let's say for example, just consider let's say online stores like Lazada or Shopee, there are actually thousands, if not millions, of transactions daily. If I am the manager, I mean, I'm going to look at the details of each transaction. I don't know if I can make decision out of those data. So it's an overload of information. And it says here, all information is not useful. Anything which helps manager improve his decision making will obviously lead to better result. So MIS will help the manager improve decision making. So MIS is a system where data is the input and which is processed to provide output in the form of information reports, summaries, etc., which aid the manager's decision making and process. So let's have another example. Let's say I have a system and a school system wherein we input the enrollment of students. If we're going to look at the data about the enrollment, that should be that will more or less uh, be tantamount to an overload of information. But once we try to create reports out of this data, let's say for example, I want a list of the students enrolled in my MIS class. So if I have the list, that's already an information. For let's say the graduate school would like to have a summary of the students enrolled in all of the programs. It's a summary. So once we do this report, then it will be easier for the manager to decide. Let's say, for example, if I have a list of my MIS student, I have only a few students, then the management or the dean, for example, can decide whether to uh, push through with the subject or dissolve the course or the program or the subject. Or let's say, for example, in the summary of the enrollment, the dean noticed, for example, a large increase in the enrollment, then maybe the dean can decide or the management can decide whether to hire more faculty or something like that, okay? Or maybe add classrooms, etc. So that's why MIS is important. Types of management information systems. So there are actually several types of management information systems, but some are not very familiar to us because, or others are already integrated with subsystems, and others maybe are quite expensive to have, or others we're already using them, but we just don't know their names. So first we have the executive support system. So it is designed to help senior management make strategic decisions. ES typically involves lots of data analysis and modeling tools to help strategic decision making. One of the buzzwords of IT these days is about data analytics. And data analytics has something to do also with the executive support system. The data that we have here are not just internal data. Sometimes we also use external data. Then we have the decision support system, specifically designed to help management make decisions in situations where there is uncertainty about the possible outcomes of those decisions. Actually, we can make use of Microsoft Excel as a decision support system. Maybe you're not aware of that, but there are add-ins or there are utilities wherein we can make use of the what we call usually call the what if. So what if I increase, for example, the tuition fee? What will happen with my enrollment? So based on the model, more or less, we can predict what will happen. Then we have the knowledge management system to help business create and share information. These are typically used in a business where employees create new knowledge and expertise, which can then be shared by other people in the organization to create further commercial opportunities. So uh, maybe we have a lot of data coming from our transactions, coming from customers, and based from that, maybe we can make some predictions, we can make some analysis. We can. That's why, again, another buzzword aside from data analytics. These are the buzzwords of today's information technology. Data analytics. We have machine learning, artificial intelligence. So these are all based on data that were derived in a management information system. And then these are more or less the more familiar ones. We have the transaction processing system. So designed to process routine transactions efficiently and accurately. Managers often use these systems to deal with such tasks as payroll, customer billing, and payments of suppliers. So if you record, excuse me, if you record the business transactions, then most probably you are using a TPS or transaction processing system. Then next we have the office automation systems. So I believe you're familiar with this. So again, that try to improve the productivity of employees who need to process data and information. Wide range of software systems that exist to improve the productivity of employees working in an office. So an example is Microsoft Office, of course. So you can increase your productivity. You can write documents. You can do some calculations, most probably with the Microsoft Excel, etc. Or you can have your email. These are examples of office automation systems. How is a management information system useful in companies? One is about planning and control. MIS improves the quality of plans by providing relevant information for decision making. So MIS serves as a link between managerial planning and control. It improves the ability of management to evaluate and improve performance. So I think that's quality of plans. So if you have information, then the quality of our plants will be uh, better. MIS minimize information overload. So MIS changes the larger amount of data into summarized form and therefore avoids the confusion which may arise when managers are flooded with detailed facts. So as I said a while ago, if we have, for example, a school system, then if you're the dean, maybe you're not be interested in the details of the enrollment. But so instead of going to the details of the enrollment, maybe you want to have an enrollment summary. So in that case, we can minimize information overload. MIS encourages decentralization. So decentralization of authority is possibly when there is a system for monitoring operations at lower levels. So MIS is successfully used for measuring performance and making necessary changes in the organizational plans and procedures. Again, if we have data that can be provided by MIS, then we can decentralize authority because, again, decision making on the lower levels can also be facilitated. So, continuation, cost. Invest in a consultant to help define your core requirements that include information for strategic planning and project management. To be useful and successful, a management information system should focus on company products, services, customers, operating costs, marketing opportunities, and company exposure to risk. Again, so maybe we can minimize costs uh, because of the information that can be provided by the MIS. MIS brings coordination. MIS facilitates integration of specialized activities by keeping each department aware of the problem and requirements of other departments. It connects all decision centers in the organization. If we have an MIS, as we all know that data of other departments can also be used by other departments or there's a relationship. Okay, so let's say for example, the graduate school with the registrar, the graduate school with the cash section. So if we have an MIS, we have a centralized or we have centralized data because of the MIS, then that will bring us bring coordination. So let's say, as an example, graduate school would like to know if most of the students already have paid their tuition fee. So that's can easily be done. Or graduate school would like to view reports regarding grades, regarding enrollment, etc. Then maybe because of a centralized database, then data or reports coming from the registrar or that are usually produced by the registrar's office maybe can be generated also by the department. So MIS assembles, process, stores, retrieves, evaluates, and disseminates the information. So of course, these are the basic function of an MIS. Impact of the management information system. With a good MIS support, the management of marketing, finance, production, and personnel becomes more efficient. Of course, again, that's because we have more information, we have more data, we have more information. So uh, the management becomes more efficient. So the MIS begins with the definition of data entity and its attributes, respectively designed for information generation in the organization. The MS calls for systemization of business operations for an effective system design, so it will become more systematic. This leads to streamlining of operations which complicate the system design. So again, our operation becomes more efficient. MIS improves the administration of the business by bringing a discipline in its operations, as everybody is required to follow any system procedures, of course, uh, instead of, uh, let's say, for example, if the employees are doing their job, some sort of twitch its own. And but if we have a system, we have to follow the system. We have to encode this using this format, etc. So that will improve for the business by bringing discipline. So this process brings a high degree of professionalism in the business operations. I think that's self-explanatory. Since the goals and objectives of the MIS are products of business goals and objectives, it helps indirectly to pull the entire organization in one direction towards the corporate goals and objectives by providing the relevant information to the people in the organization. Benefits of MIS. Data can easily be accessed and analyzed without time-consuming manipulation and processing. If you're using manual system, uh, I know you know how hard it is to manipulate and process data. But if you have them stored electronically in a database, then it will be easier for us to manipulate data. Decisions can be made more quickly and with confidence that the data are both time relevant and accurate. So what do we mean by time relevant? So if we push the button and the report comes out immediately, then that means that the data that we see is time relevant. It's and more or less it can be more accurate rather than it is done manually. Let's say, for example, if we produce a report, let's say the management would like to have a report on the names of students who haven't paid their tuition fee. So, and let's say the cash section can produce that report in 5 days manually, but you can produce that report with just a push of the button if you're using an MIS. So if you do that manually within 5 days, after you are through with the report, maybe within that 5 days, already some have paid. So that's not anymore, the report is not anymore accurate. And of course, it's no longer time relevant. Integrated information can also be kept in categories that are meaningful to profitable operation. So we can integrate data or information coming from the departments. Significant cost benefits, time savings, productivity gains, and process reengineering opportunities are associated with the use of data warehouse for information processing. A data warehouse, so usually we store data coming from transactions, but data coming from transactions are usually designed to make, uh, to minimize redundancy so that we're going to store only a little amount of data. But usually in bigger companies, aside from storing the transaction data, these data are again rewritten in such a way that it will be faster to generate reports. And usually one of the things, one way to do that is through a data warehouse. So it will be faster, but of course it will require more resources as compared with just the plain transaction processing system. Functional information systems. On the basis of specific functional areas, MIS can be categorized as follows. So we have marketing management information system. So you know what's marketing, human resource information system, financial management information system, production and inventory management information system. But of course, it depends on the company. This is more on a production company. Team management. Team management is the ability of an individual or an organization to administer and coordinate a group of individuals to perform a task. Team management involves teamwork, communication, objective setting, and performance appraisal. So, because of MMIS, we can have a team. Human Resource Information System is the functional information system used for team management. So again, more or less we use the HR information system for team management. So human resource information system, a database system that keeps important information about employees in a central and accessible location. So employees, data about information about employees, like of course your profile, name, and some of your credentials, maybe your attendance record, etc. So feeds information into its our policy and planning as well as other decision process. HRIS definition. It is a systematic way of storing data and information for each individual employee to aid planning, decision making, and submitting of return and reports. So let's say we have a data of information about the human resource, and let's say we would like to promote somebody. Of course, what are we going to do? Take a look at the data, search, maybe create summary, and then look for the credentials. Because we have them stored, then that will be easily done if we have an HRIS. A method by which an organization collects, analyzes, and reports information about people and jobs. So that's an HRIS. How HRIS help in team management. So now this is now the team management that was mentioned a while ago. First is staffing. All managers know the importance of having the right person at the right place. That's what I have mentioned also a while ago. Let's say somebody's going to be promoted, so the we have to know the credentials. So here, if we want to staff also our staff departments, then we should know the credentials. So to recruit the right person for the right job requires information from various resources. HRIS plays a very important role in providing vital information to managers so that they can hire right persons for the right job. Organizing. It is important that organizations not only recruit the right person for the right job, but also keep an employee motivated. Here again, HRIS plays a vital role by helping the managers to keep a vigil on the staff so that nobody feels neglected. So motivation can be given in the simplest forms such as an email of appreciation from the boss to the staff or wishes to a subordinate on his birthday. Directing and controlling. Managers have to be on their toes always because the staff needs constant direction and redirection for countering uh, competitors. HRIS helps the managers and staff require quick information for directing their energies towards the overall goals and objectives of the organization. So that's where MIS enters, or the HRIS. As an organization grows, it is very difficult for the managers to be present at all the places at all times. Yet, he has to keep an eye on activities of the staff. With the help of the HRIS, a manager can acquire information regarding the staff even when he is not physically present. So HRIS benefits faster information process. So we all know that because if you have a system, you have databases, you have computers, then processing of information is a lot faster. Greater information accuracy, improved planning and program development. So we have seen that a while ago. Enhance employee communications. And these are examples of HRIS softwares. Here are some examples of companies that use management information system. I think now, more or less, a lot of companies are using MIS, but some maybe are more comprehensive, some are using a complete system, but others are not. So one is Dell Company. This direct business model eliminates retailers that add unnecessary time and cost or who can diminish Dell's understanding of customer expectation. They also use transaction processing system. HDFC can reach more people by more efficient way. Employees can easily connect with other branches. So customer service get improved, employees record maintained very well. The World Health Organization health management system information system uses an information system specially designed to assist in the management and planning of health programs, so as opposed to delivery care. Conclusion. So through the management information system, the information can be used as a strategic weapon to counter the threats of business, make business more competitive, and bring about the organizational transformation through integration. MIS provides support to managers as they work to achieve corporate goals and enables managers to compare results, to establish company goals and identify problem areas, and opportunities for improvement. So that's all, and that ends my uh, presentation.